And thus, that is the 51 episode run for Clover until next week, until we start the brand new arc, which is starting the New Year run, I should say, even though we're still technically into, like, 2018, but hey, like, don't worry about it, it started last year, so I'm sure it'll be fine. It is weird when we consider that we were coming to this episode and this was, a year ago, this was like, this is going to be the end. This is going to be the wrap up for Clover. And I was preparing for a whole video to kind of break down. It's like how I feel about this whole first year of Black Clover. Does this mean with the high and the lows that we've gone through this? Does this mean that we have a potential future for this series? And clearly we're getting more of it. It just means, where do we go from here? Now that we can actually, if we're going to be continuing with potentially another 20, 30, heck, let's even jump the gun and say we're getting another 50 episodes here. We could potentially have a 100 episode long run show here, this series. It really adds up to make you think how far can we go? Because especially with the manga as of recently being in its longest arc right now as well, Black Clover, as you've seen with this show and all that, we've barely been building ourselves up into longer and longer arcs, especially for what we've seen with DC Temple being the longest run so far in the series, and with having at the moment of recording this video, having 174 chapters, adding that to over 100 episodes as well. And I think by the time we get that, we'll be way past the 200s and stuff, and especially with some of the stuff that they're definitely going to be covering soon, it makes us wonder where exactly the anime could stop. And personally as well, I think considering that this is very much a setup episode for this very little small, I would call this a prelude for things to come, this little thing that we're going to get. But first we'll explain that, and then we'll talk a little bit more about what's going to be happening with Black Clover. So let's go jump into the episode a little bit, which surprisingly enough, this one had, I'm pretty sure there was no actual filler that they tried to add into this episode. It was weird. I was so confused by this episode. I was I mean, they're dragging on a few scenes here and there, and that was mainly the invasion stuff, because it's you get apparent how serious some of these people are. But we come straight back from the Black Bulls having pretty much no chance to really rest after the Sea Temple arc. A lot of them are just laying down, relaxing, we did a good job. You know what? I think we deserve some R&R. You guys are right. Even though they went to the beach beforehand, before that, although you do find out a little bit of the aftermath with this, as one, Charmy needs to go with Yami to go and report to Julius and hand in the prisoners, which Aster is well, I want to come as well and all that, I want to speak to Julius. And Yami in a way was to be fair, you were there last time and Julius has taken a bit of liking to you, sure, why not? Go down there. And I was confused, was that in the manga when I completely forgot Charmy even kidnapped them? I remember it was a single, because I don't think you actually see them capture them in the manga at all, until you get that one panel where she's I took some of the prisoners with me, and that's all those guys got in the manga, and some couple of panels here and there, and there were a lot more heavily dedicated in the episodes that we got. However, one thing to say is that they got when they already arrived with Julius, because the team at the moment is Yami, Aster with broken arms, Charmy and Finral, and they're Finral, just go out somewhere and enjoy yourself, and flirt with a little bit. And he's yeah, sure. He's sure, why not? They go to Julius, they hand in the magic stone, they hand him the prisoners. He starts talking about how much they've grown and how much proud he is of Yami, and you get this nice little moment of how much guff and shit that Julius got every time he was trying to put his bets on Yami, whereas I'm going to make him a magic knight, and he was already getting shit for that. You want to make him a captain, get that people were starting to distrust his rule, whereas is he even thinking the right things at the moment? What happens if he can let a traitor in? What if we can't trust and again, that's the whole kind of foreigners, and especially with how they treat not only just foreigners but also as well how they just treat commoners. at the end of the day, the nobles and like a lot more higher like echelon as just magic knights and just people in this Clover Kingdom are just pricks and assholes. There's no real way to defend them, especially with later on. And you'll see as well the latest, I think the latest chapter as well showed how horrible the nobles really are, and it's like they have barely any redeeming factors whatsoever. You get the one or two that are alright, but it's like they are not saving themselves from like a nice like graceful like exit, I'll say. Which leads up to with a big crux of this episode is the fact that they get there, Julius gets a call from his like assistant who's like screaming, "We've got a problem right now. One of our borders is being attacked by the Diamond Kingdom right now. We have a serious situation." They're sent in 3 of their generals to try and take this place on, which we find out they have these, I believe it's 8 shining generals that they're known as, which, funny fact as well and all that, Mars is one of the people that is like one of the shining generals, although you don't see him in this episode. You do see 3 people that have a very similar design to in, at least with the outfit wise and like all the crystals and all on their heads and everything. It's like, so these are the sort of same people that at least not clearly either stronger than Mars or on this kind of like level, where it's like these are serious deal and like they are pretty much considered the Diamond Kingdom's version of captains for the most part. It's like these are their like real like they're heavy hitters for the most part, which you see some weird fucking afro looking dude, some old ass man, and like some edge fucking lord, like pompous prick with a lightning bow. One comes in charging in with this like weird like boar thing that he creates, going smashing through the walls. You had this guy with like a lightning bow, the other guy who was like the more tactician, like very sneaky kind of going around where it's like, no, I'm just gonna let everyone else handle it. And it's like, and they're like, we need to send in people right now. And who was there right on the job to defend themselves? Oh, it was of course the Golden Dawn. They were there, and it's like you'll start seeing some stuff, and I hope like a lot of people see this as well with this episode as well. It's like, huh, yeah, the Golden Dawn got there very quick. Yeah, I wonder what's up with that. And even Yami, you see Yami in this episode as well. It's like, I need to go over there because there is some shit I need to talk about with vengeance. Like, I need to talk to William right now, and it's like, huh. And like, you see as well clearly how strong like Yuno's gotten, and the fact that he's taking on one of these generals right now is it's basically his own version. It's like, oh, Asta for Mars alongside with a bunch of people, but it's like, oh, but Yuno can is taking one of these guys on his own. He's not beating him up so far. And there was a weird little scene that you got, and I remember that it's like this is the first time we get to hear the little Soul Spirit like talk for the first time, and she's like being there. I guess technically, like, you had the little grimoire things. I think she talked in there beforehand, but this is the first, I guess, real official time. And it's like she's like a very like I'd say slightly overprotective of Yuno, and then also as well as like, no, we need to go on a date. You need to take me out there. It's like I've been like bored for so long, and finally Zona's handsome shoes coming. Like she's talking all this stuff. He's got this chatting in his ear, and he's like, I don't get this. Like, I don't get this girl. Please, what's going on? Which leads to what one character that we see as well with William, because William's now going to start playing out. You see like all these roots and like all these vines start coming out with his grimoire, and you're like, oh, he's now about to step in. So we're now about to see what the Golden Dawn captain has in store for us. One person you meet as well, which we listeners who are paying attention, then you know exactly who that is when he mentioned Langris, which, of course, as they're now about to go and get Finral and all that, that's Finral's brother on there. I believe they half brothers, if I remember correctly, and all that. I think that was recently something and all that they mentioned. It's like they're not full-on brothers, they're half brothers, but it's like this is his relative, and it's like, oh, there's a clear difference between the two. One's a snobby prick, and the other one's a womanizer, and I'm like, all right, let's see what the little prep boy has in store compared to like his older brother. So definitely it's going to be a very weird team of Yami, Asta, Charmy, and Finral. Even though like Finral, I felt like he got his time shine, even as well with the like again, like I said, this arc is a prelude for a lot of things, and it's like it's really short if I remember, and especially if like we're going at this pacing as well, where they talk about, we went through like 2 chapters, I'm pretty sure. Like, and I'm like, this felt like a good pacing and all that. It wasn't an amazing episode for any point. It's really setting up like, oh, here's the generals, here's going on. Where it's like, just because Asta and the others were dealing with a situation in the Sea Temple, other stuff is happening as well, because they caught on. I kind of like the fact that it's like they caught on. It's like, oh, they're having terrorist issues right now. Oh, they're taking away a lot of their heavy forces away from some of their borders. Alright then, let's go and use this time to kind of like take on. But no, the Golden Dawn have to be perfect, and they can't do anything wrong, of course. I fucking hate the Golden Dawn. Like, it's just, a lot of them are just pricks, but it's like, I mean, hey, you got like, Julius, and then you got Mimosa there, so it's like, they've got a lot of like the heavy, people in there, like the vice captains in there, like a bunch of those, the Golden Dawn members are there. I think it's like, pretty much every prominent member that at least we know of, and especially some of the people that you saw during like the award ceremony as well. So it's like, yeah, you get to see some of what some of these people can do. Some of them can do ice magic. There's rock on there, and like seeing what exactly like why they're pretty much showcasing why they are the #1 squad out of everyone else. Like compared to the Eagles, compared to like the Lions, and it was like, all right, let's see what these guys got to do. Which also as well is a sad thing is that we're going to be saying, I believe this is the last time we're going to be listening to the opening 4 and ending 4, which I've really grown attached to. I really like Guess Who Is Back. It's no Black Rover, still my favorite one, but yeah, no, beginning the brand new stuff that's coming out for the next year and stuff, so I'm very much looking forward to exactly what we got in store, because they did say it's starting in October, and clearly next week is going to be that. So I am, there hasn't been any news yet, so whether or not it's are going to have one yet, and it depends, since they normally talk about it when the Jump chapter comes out, but I am looking forward to it. I'm very excited for what we have in store next to Black Clover, especially. Again, like with the future of the anime though, which is one thing to definitely talk about, is I hope that with the pacing like this we can keep at a good rate. Again, we have material that we need to cover. I'd like to say 6, like the next 3 episodes, or to maybe 4 even, unless they want to like slightly drag some stuff on. So I'm going to be generous and say 6, just in case, because I believe it's like 8 chapters, like 8 chapters to 6 chapters. There are going to be other characters introduced which are important to the arc, and again, when we saw these people in the manga, we had no fucking clue who these were, who were the not the visual novel, the light novel characters. Are we finally going to get that? Are they going to be like, oh hey, it's you guys, and fucking, you know, Camtasia blur effect comes into play and goes, oh, let's see how Asta met these people, like, because it would give a good excuse for a, I don't know, a filler arc in there, where it's like, it is technically filler, but then at the same time canon. It's not like again, like, it's something that's like, it is part of the main story, and I would personally like to know more about these characters, because of the fact that we didn't get a real great explanation in the manga, apart from like the cliff notes for the most part, and it's like, I want to know more about them, because the 3 characters that we get to see I find are kind of very interesting, because they one of them taught Asta quite a bit how to use his his swordsmanship, and like the other 2 as well were kind of interesting. So here, I'm gonna say I'm looking forward to that. We will probably see them in the opening. I think that's regardless, because like they're heavily showcasing they want to get to as everyone's gonna call it, the Black Asta stuff, or the Asta stuff. So like we're definitely gonna be seeing clips of the Witch arc. It depends how far we're gonna be seeing into the Witch arc though. So look forward to that. Again, I really like the Witch arc. Like, it's personally my favorite arc, although the current stuff in the manga is probably the best stuff that we've had so far for the series. But like, definitely, I just hope that they can do that arc justice in the anime. Like, the what we saw, like, from every point and all that we had with all the material going on with the Sea Temple, where it was very wonky to bad, like it was bad to mediocre, but then we had the really golden episodes. There was like 5 episodes, I'd say, that were like really goddamn good. That was just like a month full of episodes that were just utterly fantastic. So I hope we can have something like if anything, like we learn from the mistakes, and this is some of the stuff that they've been like hopefully very much preparing for, because it's been a thing that they've been teasing since literally episode 1. So yeah, a lot of people are going to finally get to see that payoff, at least, and all that. But yeah, they're excited and all that, since we're now in volume 9 material on there. I believe like there's 17 volumes in total at the moment, like 16 volumes at the manga. So with the anime and its pacing, and depending on how they're going to be handling all of it, I definitely, if they're ballsy, and depending how long it's going to take for this arc to wrap up in the manga, which is pretty close to wrapping up from how it feels at the moment. By that still could be like 3 months. Like generally that could be 3 months to even 6 on there. So that could be 24 episodes for Clover, and that could be them like wrapping up a majority of the witch stuff, and especially I would say the arc after that. I think we're definitely going to be getting some of that stuff, and it's like that could be a note where we end off if the pacing is going to be changing off. But maybe the arc after the witch arc, again, we don't know the exact episode list that we've got now, so we'll have to wait and see. Maybe they just only commission more stuff after like the witch stuff, we don't know. But how they're speaking about it is that Black Clover is going to go over into the next year, and after that we don't know. So I'm very much looking forward to that. So I think at least it's 24 more episodes at least, so we'll wait and see and all that, how far we want to be going. Are we going to go further than the witch stuff that we originally guessed about this, or whether or not? Because it could make sense if we had the light novel mixed in with that, because it's a pretty long arc. So we'll wait and see and all that. All the answers will hopefully be shown to us soon. So that's all from me. Thanks always for watching, and I'll see you guys though next time.